G'day sports fans and welcome to another episode of the State of Corona, the quest to crush COVID-19. It's actually Good Friday. Well, it's not Good Friday, it's Weird Friday, probably the weirdest Good Friday I've ever had. Yes, here we are still in lockdown. Australia seems to be doing pretty well at flattening its curve, let's say. Because, well, this is us as of midnight last night. Pretty well every state has crossed that threshold of doubling less than every 5 days, which is phenomenal. When I first started doing that, I thought that was going to take months. And I don't even know. I'd have to go back and watch earlier episodes of this to see. New South Wales has just touched it. Victoria's touched it. Queensland's definitely crossed it. South Australia's well and truly crossed it. West Australia has. You look at Tassie, they're approaching, give it a couple more days, and they'd be down to doubling less than every 10 days. ACT's pretty flat. So we talk about flattening the curve. NT came onto the scoreboard only roughly a week ago. They're already under doubling every 10 days. So if that's not flattening the curve, I don't know what the hell is. And again, I'm not saying that's any cause for any sort of complacency. No, I'm not saying that. It's like, yeah, we're all doing the right thing. And I guess the whole thing with the quest for, the state of Corona is for us to have something to aim for, to look forward to, because this could go on for months. Now, a lot of people talk about, we'll be able to get some social liberties or social freedoms once we find a vaccine or whatever. Can I just remind you, AIDS was the big scary killer in the mid-1980s when I was in my 20s. And we thought, we're all going to die of AIDS. Yeah, it was a horrible disease, killed a lot of people, as COVID-19 is. We never got a vaccine for AIDS. There is no such thing as a vaccine for AIDS. Just like there's no true vaccine for influenza A, which kills a lot of people every year as well. Again, I'm not downplaying the seriousness of COVID-19, but take it from me. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about this is 2 years ago, my wife suffered she has asthma anyway. She got influenza A, which started off, which also, at the same time she had pneumonia on the lower left lung. She was laying here on a Thursday night. I ended up having to call an ambulance. I was going to take her in the car, but she collapsed. I called an ambulance. She's not well. She ended up in intensive care for 25 days, 11 of those in an induced coma. So I know what it's like to see someone go through a very, very close to fatal experience with a respiratory condition. Well, she ended up having 3. She was asthmatic, she had influenza A, and it ended up turning into double pneumonia. For a period of 4 days, all the head guys in the intensive care unit would say to me is, look, just prepare yourself. She has not turned the corner yet. So I know what it's like to be in intensive care for 25 days every day, sitting there watching someone and thinking, fuck, are you going to die? My biggest fear was having to call her father and say, Richard, I'm really sorry. But thankfully she got through it, thanks to the great staff and the skill of the doctors at Gold Coast Private Hospital. So I have sat there for near enough to a month to watch someone almost die from respiratory illnesses. So I don't treat this lightly or frivolously at all. Anyway, back on the subject. So just looking at the figures, I think Australians are doing pretty damn well. And it's about time we got some sort of direction for how we're going to emerge out the other side of this. And I seriously don't think it's going to be waiting for a cure or a vaccine, because there's plenty of things that kill you we don't have cures or vaccines for. Whether we have the herd immunity kick in at some stage or what, I don't know. But if we look at the other sort of metrics we have to look at, if you look at the percentages, that's the national percentages through to midnight last night in terms of how many new cases. We're now down to less than 1% increase on a daily basis. Don't get me wrong, it is still increasing. It's increasing, that's bad. But you look at anything, there's a typical bell curve in the life cycle of something. Well, I'm sorry, if that's not a bell curve and we're on the downside of the bell curve, I don't know what the hell is. Anyway, our politicians are doing a great job. Our medical and emergency specialists are doing a great job, so please give them support. Everyone in the supermarkets, I try to be super nice to them because you hear these horrible stories of people treating them terribly. I just think, how the hell could you do that? These poor buggers have got to go in there and face people on a daily basis, touch shit that they have. I bring something home from the supermarket, we scrub it, we wash it, everything. And they've got it, anyway, I take my hat off to them. Anyway, so thinking about moving ahead, I think here in Australia, and this is not being selfish, but we've got a great opportunity. Yes, it's terrible, a number of people that are losing jobs, careers, but a lot of the things that were formerly thought of as the norm, I don't think it's ever going to be the same normal again. And so we've got to think, well, how do we reinvent ourselves? Me, I'm trying to reinvent myself by doing stuff like this. Also trying to keep local businesses supported and locals entertained by playing trivia nights with this same setup. On Wednesday nights. We used to do it every Wednesday night at a local bar. None of that sort of things happens anymore. Unfortunately, at the bar, which we love dearly, we love the proprietors dearly, the week that all this shit went down, their business did a toes up. Another business along the line said, well, let's have a trivia night there. We had a trivia night there. The week, bang, everything closed down. I was like, well, shit. I could go mad just sitting in here doing nothing, or do this. So anyway, back to my point about moving ahead. Australia's got a good opportunity. We've got a hell of a good moat around this island, which is arguably, certain things say it's not, but it's the biggest island on the planet, or the smallest continent, depending on what way you want to look at it. But we've got a moat made up of the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Timor Sea, all the water around us protects us. And if we've got COVID-19 under control, which it seems that we do, let's protect that and keep it. Doesn't mean to say don't let anyone in, but for a long time we need to be very protective of who we let in. If we look at territories like Europe and the US, I won't go through their numbers. I fear so much for people in the States and friends in New York in particular. It's like, it saddens me every day. I get up and hear there's a new record for deaths overnight. Similar things happening in the UK. I've got a lot of friends, family, loved ones, collaborators on projects over there. I fear for all of them. It's distressing. But for those of us that can emerge the other side of this, we've got to look to the future. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing it all for? We've got to get life back, because normal life is not what we've got now. I don't think we're going to get normal life back ever again, but it's making the new normal. And anyway, message to everyone in Australia: we are this isolated island. We have quarantined ourselves heavily and looked after and protected our native species. I think we're geared up very well to protect the human species. So all people that run businesses have got any ideas, think of how to take them online, think of things like this. And, I'll wrap it up there, but, it is Easter. Everyone have the best Easter you can, given where we're at. And I think in Australia we're crushing COVID-19, but let's work towards the future and seeing where we can go beyond this. So, sports fans, I'll see you again soon on State of Corona, the quest to crush COVID-19.